all of Canada's provinces have now said no to American alcohol. But the maker of Jack Daniels is calling the Canadian response disproportionate, saying it's worse than a tariff because it's literally taking your sales away, completely removing products from the shelves.
So by now we've all heard that Canada is removing Jack Daniels from the shelves, and Jack Daniels has responded. They have said that Canada removing their bottles from shelves will be more detrimental to them than just Trump's tariffs alone. But is this you, Jack Daniels? Because if I recall, 6 months ago, you guys scrapped your DEI program. So I kind of think you had this coming anyways, and it's well deserved. Also, is this you? I noticed that you guys donated bottles to Donald Trump's inauguration. So again, well deserved. Lastly, I'd like to point out the method in which Jack Daniels uses to distill their whiskey wasn't even created by Jack Daniels in the first place. He learned it from a formerly enslaved man named Nearest Green. Nearest Green was the first known African-American master distiller. So you guys of all companies should know the importance of DEI, considering you guys stole a method from a man who was way more qualified, all because of a racist family who decided to steal that method and get rich for themselves.
Hello guys, and welcome to the J Report. In today's video, we're going to talk about how Canada has ordered the removal of Jack Daniels whiskey from its shelves following the trade war with America. Picture this: you walk into a liquor store in Canada, head straight for a bottle of Jack Daniels, and bam, nothing. Not sold out, not hidden, straight up banned from the shelves. Why? Because Canada is tired of playing nice in this trade war with the US. But hold up, before anyone starts crying over a whiskey brand, let's talk about Jack Daniels for a second. Because honestly, maybe this is karma finally coming for them. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing, because it helps YouTube recommend it to a wider audience. And so now, without further ado guys, let's go straight into this video. But first, let me play you a few clips on this matter and I'll come back with my commentary. As a side note, all credit belongs to the creators of these videos.
So they're pulling off Jack Daniels. They pulled off the shelves because I guess they're returning the product and wanting credit or something because they didn't sell it. Apparently they had to have some mass layoffs recently, like 200 or 400 or something like that. They laid a lot of people off. I mean, that's Kentucky, right? It's down there in the deep red areas.
Did you see what the Canadian congressman actually said about that? So they're actually only targeting southern state products. He said, look, we are aware that not all Americans are nuts, but we're aware that the majority of southern states voted Trump in unanimously. And so if you're going to vote in this guy, the people in Kentucky and Louisiana and the Carolinas and Texas and these places, they are directly largely responsible for this absolute show that we're in right now. And that's basically what he said, only in a political, a politician's way. So he said, look, until then, we will not be able to, in good conscience, sell the products here.
This whole mess first started when Trump decided to slap a 25% tariff on Canadian imports. Canada, refusing to be bullied, hit back with a 25% tariff on American goods. But they didn't stop there. They took direct aim at iconic US brands, telling liquor retailers in Ontario, New Brunswick, and Quebec to yank American whiskey off their shelves. And just like that, Jack Daniels was out. This isn't about whiskey though. Trade wars ripple through entire economies. They cost people their jobs, jack up prices, and make everyday life harder for regular citizens. But before we get into how this trade war is screwing over hardworking Americans, let's talk about Jack Daniels' history. Because let's be real, they don't deserve our sympathy. Jack Daniels is one of the biggest whiskey brands in the world. But let's get one thing straight. Jack Daniel didn't come up with that famous whiskey formula. It was stolen from a black man named Nathan Nearest Green. Nearest was an enslaved master distiller who taught Jack Daniel everything he knew. That smooth Tennessee whiskey flavor, the Lincoln County process that makes Jack Daniels unique, all of it came from Nearest Green. Yet for a century, Jack Daniels erased him from history. It wasn't until 2016, yes, 2016, that Jack Daniels finally admitted the truth. And guess what? They only did it because Fawn Weaver, a black entrepreneur, dug up the facts and put them on blast.
I'd like to point out the method in which Jack Daniels uses to distill their whiskey wasn't even created by Jack Daniels in the first place. He learned it from a formerly enslaved man named Nearest Green. Nearest Green was the first known African-American master distiller.
Now here's where it gets even worse. After finally acknowledging their debt to Nearest Green, you'd think Jack Daniels would be all in on DEI. Nope. Instead, they quietly downplayed their DEI initiatives after facing backlash from conservatives. So let's get this straight. Jack Daniels was built off a black man's knowledge, but when it came down to stand for diversity, they backed off. And let's not forget their politics. Jack Daniels had no problem donating whiskey for Trump's inauguration attendees, so they are cool with playing politics when it benefits them. But now, they want us to feel sorry for them because Canada won't sell their bottles? Nah, miss me with that. Now, how is this trade war screwing over everyday Americans? Let's be clear, when governments start throwing tariffs around, it's not the rich CEOs who suffer, it's the everyday people. And the fallout from this mess is already hitting American workers hard. Take Jack Daniels, for example. Because of these trade tensions, a Jack Daniels plant in Kentucky had to shut down, leaving hundreds of people without jobs. Not executives, not shareholders, regular hardworking people who just wanted to feed their families.
So unfortunately, some more bad news for the US economy today. The liquor giant Jack Daniels is closing one of its barrel making plants in Louisville, Kentucky. This in response to the ongoing boycott of American products and now, of course, tariff. The CEO of Jack Daniels, Lawson Whiting, I believe it is, has issued a profit warning and has told investors to watch out for that. Lawson isn't very happy because he feels that taking Jack Daniels completely off the shelf in Ontario and also in other provinces is what he calls a disproportionate response to tariffs. In this case, the boycott of American goods unfortunately has had a knock-on effect. Sales are down for Jack Daniels, and of course, as I just mentioned, the loss of 210 jobs and a closure of their barrel-making plant in Louisville, Kentucky.
And it doesn't stop there. Canada is hitting back with serious retaliatory measures, including cutting power supplies to US states. So now, Americans who had absolutely nothing to do with the trade war are about to watch their bills skyrocket and also lose their jobs. And here's the thing, the big corporations won't actually suffer. They'll just pass the extra cost on to the consumers. So not only are jobs disappearing, but everyday Americans are about to start paying even more for basic goods. Speaking of which, why is everything, including eggs, getting more expensive? Egg prices in the US have shot up, and trade tensions are making it worse. Tariffs disrupt supply chains, and when supply chains break down, everything gets more expensive, whether it's eggs, gas, or even basic groceries. Americans are paying the price while corporations keep cashing in. And let's be honest, Trump and the politicians who started these trade wars aren't feeling the pain. They're not the ones struggling to pay rent or buy groceries. It's everyday workers, small business owners, and families trying to stretch every dollar who are getting screwed over.
Donald Trump's for the people, huh? So why has Donald Trump imposed tariffs in which he know the consumer is going to have to pick up that bill? Now, let's talk about it. Hey MAGA, answer this question. Who sets the price for the products that we see on the shelves? That's right, the manufacturer. And did you know that the manufacturer comes up with that price depending on how much it costs them to manufacture that product, including shipping it and any other tariff that's been added to it? Did you know that? Now, you want to know why the cost of eggs are so high in the United States? Well, Donald Trump added a 25% tariff on Canada. And what does Canada do for the United States? It says here that Canada is a significant supplier of eggs to the U.S., with a large portion of U.S. egg imports coming from there. So what does this mean? This means that before Donald Trump was president and you were paying $6.40 for a dozen and a half of eggs, well, now they have a 25% tariff on them. So you're paying an extra $1.60, which means that now you're paying $8 plus for a dozen and a half of eggs with the extra 25% tariff. That's going to make America so rich. It's going to be so rich, it's going to be unbelievable. But it's going to come all from the pockets of the American people. So once again, how does tariffs work? Well, we're going to charge them an extra 25% for importing their goods into the United States. They, the manufacturer, are going to tack that 25% onto the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price, and us, the consumers in America, are the ones that will bear any tariffs put on any import coming into this country. And yes, once again, America will be wealthy, but it will be from the American people.
So these are my final thoughts. Jack Daniels had this coming. Let's lay it all out. Jack Daniels is getting booted from Canada because of a trade war that Trump started with his reckless tariffs. But let's not forget, this same Jack Daniel stole its whiskey formula from a black man, stayed silent on diversity when it didn't suit them, and had no issue donating whiskey to Trump's inauguration. And now they want people to feel bad for them?
My friend took me shopping today, and I went to one of the major supermarkets. And in fact, I could go to any major supermarket in the UK. I could expect to find Jack Daniels on the shelves or Southern Comfort. And this particular supermarket, which is the nearest one to me, where I used to work for 25 years, they're selling Jack Daniels. I'm not only disappointed, I'm ashamed and embarrassed. But I have read that Justin Trudeau has been told by the Jack Daniels industry that the tariffs aren't killing them, but taking them off the shelves is. So I just want to ask all my followers, please don't buy American alcohol. Please don't, because you're feeding that machine that Trump is following, the nefarious entity called Putrid. I felt pure hatred, anger and disgust at seeing Jack Daniels on the supermarket shelf. So I won't be buying any alcohol at all, period.
Meanwhile, jobs are disappearing, power is getting cut, and prices are rising for everyday Americans. And while they're out here struggling, corporations will keep making their money.
The tariffs are in, and already I'm seeing posts from Americans saying, oh my God, my prices are going up. My prices for the oil and the things that I'm ordering, prices are going up. I can't believe this is impacting us. So I put out a little note on Threads to say, like, Canadians, are you seeing a difference? No, they're not. Every single person that responded to me said, no, we've already been shopping Canadian or just not American, so like European or Asian or South American, Australian, never forgetting Australian. We've already been doing this for a month. And actually, what surprised me is a lot of people said, no, I went grocery shopping today and the prices are down. Now, some of that is people are seeing heavily discounted American products still on the shelves that people are just refusing to buy. Also, no shade to people who are in a financial situation that you do need to buy them. You go right ahead. If Loblaws is losing money by heavily discounting their American products, nobody's going to cry over that. But yeah, so Canadians are finding that we're fine so far, and already our groceries are cheaper.
So here's what I want to know. Do you think Canada was right to pull Jack Daniels from their shelves? Should we even care about Jack Daniels after everything they've done? Or is it time to focus on real issues like rising prices and lost jobs? And most importantly, why aren't we supporting Uncle Nearest Whiskey, the black-owned brand that actually honors the real creator of Tennessee whiskey? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have another video about Tesla stock falling and how Elon is losing billions. And if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.